So my major in college was marine and environmental science, and we were required to do an internship for graduation. So my first summer internship was at the Horn Point Laboratory on the Eastern Shore, and I went there and we were studying nitrogen cycling in streams, and that was my first ever field experience, and just being able to go out and sample the streams and then take that sample back to the lab and then get data from it was exciting for me. So I kind of fell in love with that aspect of doing field work, and it made what I was doing feel relevant. So I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and then I was there until college, and I went to college in Hampton, Virginia. Growing up in the city, I saw just like a lot of buildings, not many trees, not many big parks. So being at Horn Point was totally different for me. I got to fish for the first time, so that was interesting too. My favorite experience or most interesting experience since I've been in graduate school was actually the first summer here I'm at, where I was just an intern and I got to go on a research cruise. And I had been on research cruises before, but this one we went out on a NOAA ship, which was one of the biggest ships I had ever been on to do research. And I went out in particular just to get red crabs. I came to IMET and they have a blue crab hatchery, but they don't have red crabs or access to them. So we go on a research cruise to collect them. And when I went out, they were actually doing a survey. So they were trawling the sea bottom, starting I think at 500 meters deep, and they were just bringing back up these trawls. And I was supposed to collect red crabs from the trawls, but most of the time we got like sea stars and different little fish and other polychaete worms and stuff like that. So we had to like dig through them for the red crabs, if at all we did find them. I think we had one trawl where we got like a bunch of red crabs. But I started studying red crabs when I came to IMET in the summer of 2013, and I participated in the Living Marine Resources Cooperative Science internship hosted here by Dr. Rose Jagus. And I was paired up with Dr. Suk Chung, and she had a project on the deep sea red crab. So she kind of explained to me what she did here in her lab and how they were now studying red crabs that hasn't been, I guess, well studied in the past. So we got together with another one of her colleagues, Brad Stevens, and they kind of taught me everything that I know about crabs and what we can do and what needed to be studied with them. So up until then, I had never studied crabs at all, or just much knew the difference between them. What I like about red crabs is the fact that they come from the deep sea, and I think that deep sea organisms are pretty interesting. Also, that like if you study, especially like here in the Maryland area, the blue crab is pretty important. So everybody wants to know about blue crab. So I feel like kind of studying red crab is like the other end of the spectrum here. No one is really looking at red crabs, and the things that people aren't really looking at the most is what interests me. So I feel like I'm kind of like an ambassador for red crabs. So not a lot of people may know about them, but the more we keep pushing the work and doing the work, then we can start making some red crab noise and get people interested.